this, Stephen. I know it's way early. All this will change. I mean, it's going to be dictated by spring and the summer. How much work these guys put in, and obviously training camps. But let me put you on the spot. I don't like to put you on the spot too often, Stephen, but I got to do it every once in a while here. I want some predictions from Stephen Lasson. Again, this could change at any point in time. Don't old takes expose Stephen here because I'm the one putting him out on the limb here. But there's four quarterback competitions, or at least unknowns in the SEC. I'm really curious to know who you think, as of February 1st, as we're sitting here talking, who's the starting quarterback at Ole Miss, Florida, Missouri, and Georgia. If you had to bet on it today, what would be your answer for those four?
So here's a weird question to start this conversation off. Are we counting Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe as a battle, or do we think Simpson's got the job?
I'd say, oh yeah, that's a really good one. All right, five competitions here because we got to throw that one into the mix too.
So don't at Mike for that mistake. That's mine for not asking him. No, in all seriousness, Ole Miss is by far like just fascinating from many levels, just because of the names and the transfers involved. I would probably go with Spencer Sanders as the starter. I think just his ability, run, pass, I think a little bit more developed in the passing game. He's had some offensive line issues at Oklahoma State. He's had some problems with turnovers and inconsistency, but if they can get that ironed out and they can get him to be a little bit more consistent, I think that's a jump in quarterback production for Ole Miss. At Missouri, I would probably go with Brady Cook. I like the pickup of Jake Garcia just from you have Cook and you have Sam Horn, and you need another guy to compete, especially with Cook out this spring. I like that addition from just a depth perspective, but I think Brady Cook eventually will still be the starter. I will be curious to see how Garcia performs in the spring and see how much of a race he can make it by the fall. Georgia, it's interesting because you could look at the starter and say they're going to be more talented than Stetson Bennett, but they're probably going to miss Stetson Bennett to some extent for all that he did the last couple of years. I would still probably stick with Carson Beck. I think the wild card in this is, what happens if Todd Monken goes to the NFL? You'd have a new coordinator. You assume some tweaks to the scheme. Stockton and Vandegrift are very talented. The other angle to that is, if one of these guys doesn't win the job, do they transfer at the end of spring? So it may be the Kirby's advantage to keep these quarterbacks competing for the job well into the summer and in the fall, just to keep all those guys around. Florida, I think, is Mertz's job to lose. I think they're bringing him in. Obviously, there's the Rashada situation, not being able to get his officially getting to campus and all that. But I think you're bringing in Mertz at this point. He was either going to be one or two, and I think the hope was probably for him to be the bridge guy until the next quarterback. So I think he's the starter there, and you can give me Ty Simpson at Alabama over Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, I lean Ty Simpson as well, but it's really hard to kind of go all in until we know what they're going to do at the offensive coordinator, what exactly they're going to be running. But let me ask you this, Steve, a little curveball for you. I love throwing you curveballs too.